Welcome everyone to JKeSport Tier 1 Formula 1 Racing. There you see we are at Silverstone Speedway Circuit, Raceway Circuit, whatever they call it in England. Great Britain, British Grand Prix. Round 6 of our 14 round Season 3 for the top tier. Here's a nice look at the pit lane. See a couple cars, guys getting ready, come on out. Take the right hand turn, head out onto the pit lane, onto the surface, racing surface. Oh, and they're saying it's going to be a full wet race. So we'll see everyone out putting on wet setups on dry conditions. See a nice big lock up there. We're on board with one of the Haas. That's either T-Widow or Catman. I believe that's T-Widow, the number 12. I guess I can check that. It is T-Widow. As he's coming around now. Onto the Sector 2. Into the S's. Well, after the right hand, it'll be into the Beckett's S's. I'll have to fire. My laptop died during the Tier 2 race, so I'm doing everything off my phone. So I'm not going to have probably as much or as quick of information as I generally do. We'll throw all this stuff on for qualifying here. As coming to the line first, looks like it's George or Jim and T-Widow just behind. There's a Renault also right behind T-Widow. That's gonna be, looks like Uncle Ben. So now through Sector 1, hard braking zone. Right hand hook back to the left hand, almost hairpin. To the first DRS zone, wing opens. As Sam Barrett leaves session. Couple yellows there, one in the final corner. Second to last corner, I should say. That's T-Widow now nicely around into Sector 2. Almost every car on track. The Ferrari's yet to be on track. And Sam Barrett, excuse me. As George may catch a little bit of traffic here on his flying lap. We'll go check that real quick. He has invalidated, so I believe he's slowed down. So that will leave T-Widow first across the line with a valid flying lap. Now into the final couple corners. Take the left hand back to the right on the gas. George back on the gas ahead of him, right ahead of him. Cross the line with a 125.3 for T-Widow, first across. Uncle Ben behind will go into the pit lane. Looks like Yuppie. That's Jacko. I didn't even see Jacko on the track there. Not sure what happened there. But then Bacon also crossed with a 126. Jacko 125.1 provisional pole. Jacko is your series points leader at the moment. As Sparks goes a 125.2. So close to Jacko's time, as Connects there has invalidated George second time around. Gonna press his tires. We'll ride with Catman into the third Sector 3. Through the fifth, sixth gear right-hander. Down to second. Back to third. And crosses the line 126.2. So a little over a second off a pole for Catman. As we'll go find, looks like Exotic is out there now into Sector 1. So George, we'll go with George. Back on board with George in a valid lap now. But he goes into the pit lane, so not good enough by his standards, as here comes Monkey. Subbing for Tier 1 after driving a good race in Tier 2 as well. Comes across the line for P10 provisionally. First one looks like Bacon into the pit. Most everyone coming back into the pit. There's a excuse me, there's a Mercedes on track is Ice Queen Taylor. Well off the time of their first lap. Sparks well off as well. So looks like most everyone on in laps. Looks like that's Exotic. We'll get back on board with him. Ooh, as he is invalidated. And Sam now on an out lap. He's on the other side. Looks like that was FI going back into the pit lane after running a P6. So first flyers in, couple cars still out there. Jacko, Sparks, T-Widow, the top three. 125, 1, 2, 3 as well on the timing sheet so far. I'm sure the track will evolve, get quicker and quicker. As again, these are probably wet setups for most of these guys. Do know to check the weather, prepare accordingly. With Sam, looks like Exotic now going around again. Sam coming around to start his flying lap. Looks like Bacon out there on another flyer. Coming around. Oh, as there's invalidation again for Exotic. We'll find Bacon. I thought he was going into the pit lane, so I believe that's Sam. Nope, it is not Sam. I think that's Exotic. It's hard for me to see this stuff on my TV here. You hear the crowd clapping for Sam going by. Start Sector 2. Into Luffield. The right hand sweeper. Back on the gas. Another little right that's almost nothing. Another right that's basically no, and a spin out. Through the almost full speed corner. Sam backs hard into the wall, but does not DNF it. And nope, there he does DNF it. So Sam will be starting from the back of the grid after a spin and a crash. In the very fast right-hander before the S's to start Sector 2. So we're just about halfway through qualifying now as George or Jim comes around. That's a 130. Ooh, looks like Jalen just put up P3 for a 125-2. Splits Sparks and T-Widow up on the grid there as we've got a yellow flag for a Haas. Looks like that's Catman. Went for a little spin there. Gets it back underway as, oh, Uncle Ben goes 124s. First car into the 24s now. Is T-Widow coming around, start another lap? Will start another lap. Oh no, Jalen booted from the session at the moment. We'll hopefully get him back in. Catman telling me the full wet setup gives you no rotation. So these laps are going to be all the more impressive on wet setups. We'll go on board with iConnect, driving in the McLaren. There you see him back on the throttle. Barely bumped the curbs. Cross the line, 126.0. Good for P9 for the McLaren team. We'll go find T-Bird now. Coming just now, start Sector 3. There's a couple more cars crossing the line. Looks like George does finally set a time with a valid lap for P14. Certainly be looking to improve that. As Catman now crosses the line to start a flyer. T-Bird coming to finish his flyer. Stay on board now through the final corner. Cross the line, 125.9. Passed around a little bit. So we've got it looks like Sparks starting the lap. T-Widow coming to finish a lap, but was invalid, so he's going to start another. It's Uncle Ben, Jacko. We'll find Jacko on track, see if he can claim his pole position back as Will goes P3. Just missed Will coming across the line. I think Spark, nope, that was Taylor up to P7. We'll just ride with Jacko here through Sector 2 now. Coming into the world famous S's, Maggots, Beckett's. I believe Stowe is at the end. Back to the little left-hand kink DRS zone. Through a little tap of the brake. 7th, 6th gear. Back on the throttle. Calls that lap off though right at the very end. Goes back into pit lane. Decides they'll take one more shot. So T-Bird behind, also coming in the pit lane. Looks like Sparks is on a flyer. He's going to try and improve on his time. Final couple corners. Looks like he's got a good chance at improving that time indeed to a 124.9 P3. So 4 cars in the 124s as Ginnett there snuck in on me, got up to P4. As there's a Red Bull crossing the line now, I believe that's the Monkey Mafia going to start his second flyer. It is. In the Red Bull tonight, reserve roll. So we've got 19 drivers. Looks like a couple of the Ferraris out on track again. Mark coming around the final corner. Let me try and bring up my standings sheet here. Let you in on the standings. As I said, it is Jacko leading. And of course it doesn't want to load that now. Oh, there it goes. It is Jacko leading the standings ahead of Sam Barrett. 96 points for Jacko, 89 for Sam. Third place is Terrible FI. Fourth is Ginnett to win it with 48 and 44 points. Which those four, driving for the same constructors makes for a tight constructors battle. We'll get to that momentarily as Mark here crossing the line, starting a flyer. Looks like we've got Monkey coming around to finish one into the pit lane, so no go there. We'll go back to Mark as the Ferrari's the only cars not to set times yet. Mark invalid, so everyone gearing up for the hectic final 4 minutes of qualifying, as now you see a few cars coming out of pit lane, a few cars coming into pit lane. Rest of the top 10 in points is Honesy in 5th in a Ferrari, Random Sirius now in a reserve role, Mark in Kenya's 7th, Scavney 8th, Uncle Ben 9th, Catman in 10th, Bacon 11th, Seaberry 12th, Yuppie 13th, Jalen 14th, Will 15th, AP 16th, T-Widow 17th, Exotic 18th, Connects 19th, and T-Bird in 20th. Everyone but T-Bird on that list has 1 point or more, so it's a very tight midfield. In Tier 1, constructor standings, as I said, our top 4 in the driver standings are paired as teammates in the Racing Point and the Alfa Romeo. The constructor stand in that order at the moment, 140 to 137. Ferrari in 3rd with 65, Red Bull with 37, McLaren 34, Renault 32, Haas with 24, AlphaTauri 23, Mercedes with 1, and Williams with 0. That is the constructor standings after 5 of 14 races for Season 3. We'll find, now you see everybody coming out laps or flyers. Yuppie on a flyer in Sector 2 is down up on his time. which is shown as a negative on screen. Uncle Ben holding on to it at the moment. It's Jacko. Why am I not seeing the pink cars on the map? There he is. Okay, so he is out there. As Yuppie comes around, does improve his time. 126.2. Still P14 at the moment. Well, we're going to see. That's T-Bird coming to start a fire. Now just over 2 minutes to go, so these will be the last laps for everybody. T-Bird looked like a little wiggle there, as there may be traffic problems upcoming. This looks like Jalen in and out of the session again with some internet troubles. As Uncle Ben and Jacko will go ride. Jacko has invalidated. Come back to the pit lane, so I believe he's going to go with that lap. He will not have time to make it in and out and around again. Uncle Ben on a flyer, now into Sector 3. He is also up on his time, so we'll see. He's going to put down the gauntlet for everyone else to chase. As I believe everyone is out for their final runs now. There's a few cars left. I don't think you can even get out and around again, but here comes Uncle Ben to finish up that lap with a 124.556. Provisional pole extended as the Yuppie retires. Lots of guys coming now into the pit lane. We're gonna ride. There's Sparks coming around. P3 at the moment. See if he can improve on that. As Ginnett accepts his time, not going to get around again. Back in the DRS zone, Sparks is. He's got a Haas in front, trying to not get in the way. Sparks with a swerve. Hopefully it doesn't cost him too much time, as he's now into the right hand. I believe that's turn 14. I'm not sure of the numbers. Like I said, I don't have all my information in front of me, but he's coming around now. Final corner. Back to the gas. Barely loses out on his time. So still holding P3. 30 seconds to go. If he's got another lap in him, he can decide to finish it. T-Widow and the Haas off track. We'll find Catman coming around invalidated. Has enough time to go again, should he so choose. If he's got enough fuel. As he will. Get back on the throttle. 10 seconds to go. Coming around now is, looks like Will trying to make it to the line. Not sure he's gonna make it, as the checkered flag on my screen shows. And yes, that's Will did not make it. Mark will get disqualified, as now retirement's coming. Sparks went again. He is up on his time through Sector 1. Coming to the end of Sector 2 now. Needs to knock nearly a half second off his total time, as he is not up on his time any longer. Jalen coming around. Looks like invalidated. T-Widow well off track, so we're going to see if Sparks can unseat Uncle Ben from the pole position. Here he's into the final corner now. Comes around 124.9 and improves his lap by 8 1/1000ths, but not enough to take pole position or even the front row away from Jacko. And there's T-Widow off track and Catman invalid. So looks like Monkey just now coming across 126.5 does improve his time as well. We'll hang on to P16. So with an injured Monkey there in 16th, still a good drive for him. That'll do it though. Uncle Ben in the Renault holds off Jacko's 124.8, as Uncle Ben had a 124.6 and improved it. So Uncle Ben, Jacko, your front row. Sparks and Ginnett the second row. Jalen and Will be the third row. Fi, T-Widow, Exotic, and Bacon the top 10. Taylor, T-Bird, Connect, Catman, Yuppie, Monkey Mafia, George, Sam, and Mark is the starting grid. 19 drivers. We're going to have a break. 2 minutes here, everyone, to get your drink, get your smoke. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for the JKeSport British Grand Prix. Okay, we're back now. A little bit of a slow lobby to get to the race, but it worked now. We're back for a wet British Grand Prix with Uncle Ben's Rice taking pole position in dry conditions. Elma Jacko in second. There's Sparks and the Mercedes in third. Ginnett in fourth. There's a whole bunch of cars. Will, FI, T-Widow, Exotic, Jalen and Bacon there. AlphaTauri team. Taylor, Ice Queen Taylor, T-Bird in 12th. I Connect 13th. Catman in 14th. Yuppie in 15th. Monkey 16th. George in 17th. And the old White Williams. There's Sam Barrett, 18th. And Mark of Kenya, well behind the field, starting in 19th and last on the grid today. Almost full grid for Tier 1 here. As you see, Uncle Ben and Jacko and Ginnett starting on the inside line on the racing points. Sparks starting behind Uncle Ben. You see everyone catching up now. Here's Mark. Caught the back of the pack. Uncle Ben at the front of the pack. Get ready to go here as the lights should be coming up. Here we go. Uncle Ben, Jacko, front row, 5 lights, 0 lights, green flag racing. There you see the spray, the slow getaway from the wet. Ginnett's off track already. Looks like he got off. Oh, and wings go a-flying. Couple cars go flying toward the back there. One of the Haas's looks like T-Widow has a safety car, virtual safety car almost instantly. As T-Widow, Ginnett spun almost instantly as there's a big slowdown in the right hand, left hand hook there in the first sector. So VSC, looks like a few cars damaged. T-Bird retired. Not sure where T-Bird retired there. If it was in the midst of all that or before, I don't see his car anywhere. As now, green flag back out. BSC over. Uncle Ben and Jacko well away into the second sector. Through the right-hander. Uncle Ben gets away. They're saying it's a 1-stop, maybe 2-stop. On wets all race long. Heard mention of possible inters toward the end. It'll all be about who decides what they can handle with the wet tires and the wet course. As Uncle Ben has gotten away a little bit. There you see a good spread in the field. Exotic gets past Sparks up for 4th. As Will also makes a good move up for 3rd from the start. Good qualifying for the Renault team. Jacko up into the lead now. As Sparks goes into the pit lane. Must have had damage lap 1. Jacko got around. Oh, and well wide goes Will. Was that not Will? Not sure. That someone spun well off. I don't think it might have been Uncle Ben. It was Uncle Ben, your pole sitter. Went well wide there out of the final corner. So Jacko now with the lead over Will in the second Renault as a Sparks into the pit lane, and Uncle Ben went well wide. So eventful end of that first lap there as Jacko now comes around. See the brakes are glowing there, trying to help him get it turned. Back on the right hand swing, there he goes. Now a full second clear of Will. Exotic in third. FI up to fourth with a good start. Jalen now in fifth. Connects sixth. Taylor seventh. Mark with a huge start for the first 2 laps from 19th all the way up to 10th already. This guy's going to do all they can to hold on to the track limits here. They do bite at Silverstone. Monkey Mafia with a great start as well, up to 11th place. So you see the Yuppie right behind Connects and Ice Queen Taylor. Tight racing here, 6th, 7th, 8th place. This Connects with the Red Bull and Mark. Ooh, Mark looked like a little bit of a bump possibly with the Yuppie. I think they kept it clean now through the final couple corners. Back into the first sector, cross the line, start lap 3. Jacko still leading Will. Exotic and FI, third, fourth. Jalen gaining on FI. He is all over the back gearbox of FI. Takes a little bit of a peek. Not enough room there to make the move. But FI goes too little deep. Ends up having to back off. Jalen goes around the outside. Can he keep it? Looks like a little bit of dirt. I think he's gonna be able to keep it. FI just not able to get the run. So Jalen had him around the outside. FI gonna let it go as there. See Jalen gets time. FI fighting the wheel. Gonna try and get a little bit of overtake. Keep in range as there will be no DRS. Oh no, FI. Wiggle, wiggle. The wet conditions are biting. Mark of Kenya gets by now up to 6th. So FI with an unfortunate little wiggle out of the corner there as gets passed by a few cars as he's trying to get back online, get back in rhythm. As now Sam, terrible, excuse me, Sam and Connects catch FI. As Sam, as Connect went into the pit lane, I was wondering what happened there. Sam now on the back of his teammate with Bacon as well. Let's Connect into the pit for McLaren. As Monkey just on board with Monkey as he picks up a time penalty. As FI just having so much trouble, not sure if he took damage on that. As Bacon pushed wide. Mafia and FI, or excuse me, Bacon and FI battling it out. Monkey Mafia right behind. Not sure if FI is going to be able to hold him off, as now he does pass, get the move on Bacon. Mafia going inside outside. So this is a little battle here. T Widow has caught up, gonna put his nose in, gets alongside Monkey. Makes that move as well, so a good move there for T Widow. As Catman gonna try and close in on that pack just ahead now. FI 9th place. Lets his teammate Sam get by for 8th. Yuppie up to 7th. Mark from the back of the grid up to 6th. So a great run for Mark. Looks like Will now caught Jacko. We'll go ride with that. I'm glad I caught that. He's looking for a move possibly into the final couple corners. Smooth on the throttle. I say no DRS, so it's all going to be about who can get on the power and get the move made, because you're going to have to go onto the wet line to make a pass. And Sam Barrett goes fastest lap. You see Will looking for anywhere to get by. Jacko just putting his car exactly where it needs to be. As you see a few cars taking some penalty time now. We're into the 5th, 6th lap, I believe. See, lap 5 we're on. Almost lap 6, as Uncle Ben now into the pit lane again, gets a speeding penalty. It's Jacko and Will on lap 5. And the rain coming down steady. 5 laps in, Jalen on the back of Exotic trying to make a move for third here. As that may help Taylor and Mark behind. If these two get to battling it out as, ooh, Bacon takes some penalty time. As he is one of the cars that has pitted already. See a couple Ferraris there. That was a nice shot. Mark getting by Taylor in the background. So Mark making a good move here. As T-Widow also makes a move back into the top 10 around Monkey Mafia. It's Mark holding on to 5th now. Let's see if he can catch up to... Ooh, maybe not catch up. Maybe just hold off Taylor here. As Taylor's taking peeks repeatedly into the... Ooh, and Jalen and Exotic. So it's a train here. Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Ferrari, Mercedes. 4-car battle. Will back on the gearbox of Jacko as well. See if he can get a move done into Sector 2. Looks like where he had a strong move last time, but really nowhere to get it done without going off the dry, good racing line. As Exotic and Jalen side by side behind, and Jalen a little wiggle allows Exotic to get the better traction out of the corner for now. Jalen pressing though, still just gonna try to force him into a mistake. It's Mark right behind as well. Then third through 7th, 8th place, they're all within what would be DRS range, but the wet weather preventing that, as Mark trying to take a peek now around Jalen. Maybe see if he can get his Ferrari teammate to help him out, possibly just get a double overtake around the both of them, as Mark seems like he's a man on a mission here in this wet race. As there you see a nice move. Jalen can't get it done. Mark all over the back of these two. Now gonna get the inside, but not enough traction to get the move on Jalen just yet. And Taylor right behind, not gonna make anything easy on Mark. And Sam trying to get his way through now, and Yuppie, Ice Queen Taylor behind Sam. Yes. Behind Mark that we are on board with is Sam and Ice Queen Taylor. Ahead is Jalen and Exotic. So great run for Mark so far. Sam as well started at the back with Mark. These two making their way all the way up 5th and 6th at the moment, as Jacko and Will kind of settle down. Will just keeping his 4.5 distance. They've put 6 seconds between themselves and 3rd place. 7 laps in, so they are pretty good wet pace at the moment for the front runners. We'll go back to the battle here as Jalen and Exotic. Jalen makes the move. See if he can get it to stick there. That's tough as Exotic goes outside into the wet part of the track. Jalen still having a little bit of trouble making it stick as Exotic gets back ahead. As Mark, watching this all unfold, wants to do anything he can as, oh, the AlphaTauri wiggles and Mark has to get out of the gas. That's going to allow Sam to get up. Not quite past though, as tight battle, 4th, 5th, 6th here. Jalen, Mark, Sam, Taylor right behind. Yuppie also there to take advantage of any kind of mishap, as, ooh, a hard break there from Sam to avoid contact with Mark. As Mark still can't get around Jalen or Exotic. So third, fourth, fifth is a great battle for these last few laps. We're only 8 laps in of 26. Jacko and Will now 7 seconds clear of third place, and I gotta take a drink, take a breath. Whew. Oh, and as soon as I take that breath, Jalen gets the move made. Mark as well gets by Exotic. Sam gonna try and get past Exotic, but Mark and Jalen clear now to try and chase down Will a little bit, as Sam now gets by Exotic. Exotic fights it back. Sam not quite clear just yet, as we're still watching Mark and Jalen again battling. As Ice Taylor now, looks like Exotic falling back a little bit. Just getting that much offline with that many cars around hurts bad. He lost 4 positions there in less than a lap, or a little over a lap. Now has the Yuppie right on his gearbox. Says, ooh, we have a yellow in sector 3. That's a local. It's gone already. We'll go take another look. Mark on the back of Jalen for third. Sam right behind Mark. Sam with uncharacteristic penalty time. 9 laps in here of 26 at the British Grand Prix. We'll go take a look at the leader again. There's Jacko in the Racing Point. His teammate getting it now up to 10th with a good recovery drive after a bad wheel spin on the start. Looked like it threw him straight off track almost. As there's another yellow for Sparks, I believe, in the Mercedes. Looks like he spun toward the back of the track, but it's just local yellows again. No safety cars involved. Is now lap 9 coming to a close. Jacko across to start lap 10 with Will, as Jalen. Sam gets wheel to wheel with Mark through the final corners. Looks like Sam's gonna get it made, as Jacko holding off Will still, as oh no, Monkey Mafia has DNF'd. So where did this happen? Monkey out of the race. Not sure where. I believe he went into the pit lane. Maybe he just retired. As Bacon gonna take advantage of the local yellow, hopefully maybe get a little advantage on the pit lane with the local bit of yellow. But that makes Jacko Will still out front. Still about a half second between the two. Right on board with Will for a second. You see how wet it is. It's still coming down. As oh no, Sparks also DNFs, and now there is a safety car, as I believe Sparks has DNF'd entering the pit lane. We're gonna see if we can catch that on board with Jacko's car here. Oh no, it just disappeared already. So safety car, lap 10. I believe, why would you not pit here? Indeed, there's Jacko now into the pit lane. Will behind, Will's as well. All these front runners, I'm sure, will pit under this safety car. Maybe anyone far, far back try something desperate. As oh no, the Ferraris are gonna double stack right behind each other, so that's unfortunate for Exotic. As Ginnett as well. We'll see if Jacko Racing Point team down and away should come out in the lead. and should pull off the double stop quite well. The Ferrari team will get held up. Ooh, Zaginit opting for the intermediates, so I didn't even throw that consideration into it just yet. So we'll go ahead and check after this who picks what tire. It looks like almost everyone choosing the inters. I'm wondering if that's going to be the right choice. As we'll go check all that now. As there you see all the stops. George or Jim, the only one not to stop at the moment, as now it clicks in that he has stopped. So wet conditions bar a mandatory pit stop anyway, but now everyone has. And everyone has also switched to the intermediates, so not even anyone going to try the wets anymore. They're all thinking the inters will be the way to go. Penalty time, 11 laps in. Jalen with 3 seconds, Sam with 3, Taylor 3, George 6, Bacon 3, Connects 3, 4 DNFs, Monkey Mafia, Sparks, Uncle Ben, and T-Bird. All DNF. Lap 11. Sam and Mark, there you see, both up 14 spots from the back of the grid. Yuppie up 9 as well. Good run for the Yuppie so far in 6th place. Jacko, Will, Jalen, your top 3 at the moment. Looks like everyone on the lead lap. Everyone that's running. Fastest lap at the moment is Sam Barrett. Put that back on interval. Put that back on broadcast. Take another drink. We got another safety car lap, so it'll be a couple minutes. Looks like Will trying to heat his tires up a little bit. Got some wiggle action going. As the field has all caught up, so I'm sure safety car will be in this lap. Jack will lead the field around. As everyone has pitted for the intermediates. Now 12 laps in out of 26. Jacko, Will, Jalen, your top 3 for the restart here to start lap 13. So there will be, it looks like Jacko gets away very well. Now they're saying pit strategy open. after everybody just pitted. Great game you got, Codemasters. Will gets all over Jacko, but can't get the move made. Looks like Catman with a spin on the restart. Gets it back under control. Hand on the way. So Will. Now you got Will fighting Jalen, Sam. As Gennett takes penalty time there. Up in P9. With late race safety cars, penalty time is much more of a factor. We've had that happen in the last couple races here. Late race safety cars causing the field to bunch up, making those 3-second penalties huge. As Will still just can't get around Jacko. He can hang with him, but anywhere you're going to make a pass, you're going offline, you're going into the wet. And you're not going to have the traction that you need trying to get back on the dry. So it's going to have to be a mistake or a send almost to get a move made here around Jacko. Very good driver. Your points leader here in Season 3. And last week's winner, as a matter of fact, Jacko. See the shocks there working away. Rear wheels of Will. And Sam now trying to get around Will. Has gotten around Jalen. I missed that move, but he is up to 3rd place now. This Catman into the pit lane. I believe he damaged himself with a spin on the previous restart. And Sam now looking to make a move. Goes out into the wet. That's going to cool his tires. A little bit of a crossover attempt, but not enough. Ooh, he does. He's got a little bit of traction. Sam's coming. Let's see what he can do. If he can actually get around Will. Now in the S's. I don't like that view. Get off that view. As no, Sam spins. And good thing for ghosting. Or Sam would have been DNF KO'd right there, along with Jalen, who ghosted through. So Sam with a unfortunate spin. Now 14 laps. He's going to have to keep himself calm, keep himself collected, get back on rhythm, get back on pace, get back to the front. You just got to be methodical, as now Jacko takes fastest lap honors. As might be drying out, looks a little bit greener, bluer in the sky. And keep giving me that stupid onboard that you can hardly see anything. So here's Will. Jacko nearly a second advantage now, trying to get away. Jalen in 3rd. Mark to 4th. Looks like Sam fell down 10th, I believe. T-Widow must have got around Sam. Just trying to get collected again. There's T-Widow around. Ooh, Gennett spinning. Or Gennett slow. Looks like he just got offline there a bit. But gets it back. Oh, and he goes and KOs the wall big time. So that's not even a DNF. I think he was trying for it, but he did not attempt. Valiant effort. So we'll go back to the front up here. Let's see Jalen and Will. Mark. Ooh, hard braking for Mark on the back. Has caught Jalen. Coming around to start. Lap 16 now. Jacko goes fastest, then Jalen goes fastest after that. Oh, Catman had help, he says, with his restart spin. I did not catch. He's still in 15th. There's 10 to go. Could always be another safety car. As Ginnett now into the pit lane, fixes wing damage. Mark trying to get around. Jalen playing good defense today in the AlphaTauri, but he has now actually caught Will. See if he can make a move to get around Will. And Sam around for 8th place. Passes Taylor. Jalen and Mark been kind of in a battle all race long, as Jacko and Will have been 1-2 all race long. Will with the early lead, Jacko taking it lap 2, I believe. Oh no, there's looks like the McLaren of iConnect's well off through the S's there, sector 2, but now under control again. So just local yellow there. Because now these, probably no one will have to pit again. It's all going to be on your preference. There's 9 to go, 10 laps to go, including this one. And I don't think it'll dry out anywhere near in time to try for slick tires, so it's all on your preference. If you're going to want fresher rubber, I'm sure it's a little bit faster. But is it worth the super long pit time of the Silverstone circuit? It's Jacko, Will, Jalen in 3rd, Mark 4th. Here you see Mark. As Jalen now takes a peek. Looked like a little bit of a lock up there. You keep giving me bad camera angles for when the action's going on. As there's Mark. Oh, and another yellow. That's the McLaren again going slow for iConnects. Looks like Will, good defense, enough to hold Jalen off. I say outside of the dry line, there's really not much you can do to get the moves made. As Ferrari Reserve Exotic doing a good job up there in 6th. Here's T. Widow for the Haas team in 7th with another view that you can't see anything. Exotic was a little wiggle ahead. Sam is right on the back of T. Widow now, trying to get back up to 7th place after his little bump and run, with Will up for 2nd. There you see Bacon getting around George or Jim for 11th place. FI fought his way back for 10th. A little run through, little gap. There's Taylor, and then the gap back to FI. Couple cars coming on his tail. Bacon and George or Jim. And then the 3 cars with the pit stops behind: Connects, Catman, Ginnett. Go check back again. Will now 2 seconds behind Jacko. But Jalen and Mark just can't get anything done to get actually around Will. The only good thing for Mark is the penalty time of Jalen, as again the McLaren goes around, but keeps it going. Gets it moving, so still only local yellows there. As Mark finally gets a push made around Jalen. Gets the move completed. Now he's going to need to pull away. See if he can. Jalen looks right back. And now Mark, Jalen goes around this time. This is like the F3 race from earlier. Everybody battling for positions. Just one or the other. Making a bump, making a hit, making a mistake. Jalen down to 9th, so there's going to be some stewarding involved at the end of this race. Now 7 to go, 8 to go, excuse me. No, 7 to go, I was right the first time. Jacko still leading Will. Will's caught up a couple tenths in the last few laps. Mark up to 3rd now, Yuppie up to 4th. Exotic 5th, T-Widow 6th, Sam up to 7th, and catching T-Widow and Exotic, as I believe there's a lapped car in there. No, there is not. That's T-Widow and Exotic. Just a little bit ahead of Sam. Oh, as Mark takes 3 seconds more. Or his first 3 seconds, actually. As it was Jalen who had the penalty time up front, so that's beneficial to Will. He can almost let Mark go and still hold 2nd on penalty time. We'll see if Mark can get the move made anyway. Through the sweeper, into the S's. Not quite. Ooh, he looks inside now. Not enough to get it done. I'd say just that much of being off the drier line. It's penalizing, as now he goes inside to make the move for the final corner, going for cutback maybe. Will holds it off still. I think that gave Jacko all the room he needed for these last 6 laps. He's just going to need to be smooth and bring it home for his 2nd consecutive win and 3rd on the season. As Will now, he's still just holding Mark up for 2nd. As Connects is having troubles with the S's there. He's been off multiple times there. And now gets 3 seconds penalty to add the insult to the injury. As Jacko 3 seconds clear now of 2nd place Mark. Excuse me, 2nd place Will. Mark in 3rd. Trying to get 2nd. Yuppie gaining a little bit on Mark, I believe, in 4th. There's Exotic. T-Widow and Sam battling behind that. Taylor falling off just a tiny bit behind Sam. Jalen, after his little spins, holding on to 9th place. Terrible FI there in 10th, holding on to the final point. And no penalty time, so he's hoping for some gains there on the clean driving. This has happened many times in this league. As here's a good fight for 5th, 6th, 7th. You've got Exotic, Sam there just passing T-Widow for 6th. Almost got a look there for a double move up to 5th. Not quite. So we come around lap 22 of 26 now. Sam up to 6th. Exotic holding on to 5th. Ooh, as no, Sam just goes around, but does take a time penalty. Exotic forced a little bit wide. Gets back past though, they're wheel to wheel. Exotic gonna make it stick for now. So actually the beneficiary of all this is gonna be T Widow with the penalty time stacking up for the other guys, battling, fighting to stay on the track. T Widow will get around both of these guys as it stands on penalty time, so good drive for T Widow. Same as Yuppie trying to catch up to Mark. He could score a podium here with 5 to go, 4 laps, 3.5 laps to go, 4.5 laps to go. Just keep it smooth, Jacko now. Jacko's race to lose with the 3+ second advantage. Mark all over the back of Will, but penalty time involved. As we've basically got 3 groups of racing here. We've got the top 4. Sam gonna try and track him down again, as he has gotten clear of Exotic now. That's gonna be the fight between Exotic, T Widow. Taylor now has caught the back of that pack, with Jalen also in the back of that pack. Then behind that you've got FI, you've got Bacon, you got George or Jim fighting for the final championship point with 4 laps to go now. Jacko 5-second advantage, so I think the intermediates are hooking up for Jacko. He's just distancing himself now, and it's fights everywhere else. Will holding off Mark for second. Yuppie is gaining. Sam's only 2 seconds behind the Yuppie, but Sam holding penalty time. As Mark in 3rd, Sam 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th place, all holding penalty time. So FI, if he needs to push, gain as much time as he can to get closer to all those penalties. Well, a few laps to go. We can check it real quick who's got penalties. And the fastest lap is at the moment Sam. Penalties are 3 for Mark, 6 for Sam and Exotic, 3 for T Widow. Taylor just took 3 more for 15 seconds. Jalen with 3. Bacon 6. George 9. Connect 15. Get it with 3. Sam goes fastest lap, even faster. There you see Mark, Sam, Yuppie all well up from where they started. Everyone on basically the same age tires except Catman, who had to pit after the restart damage. So now 3 to go. As I connects, looks like gets loose again. Here comes Jacko around. Looks like he's gonna lap iConnects as he gets out of the way. As Sam gets by the Yuppie. So Sam with his pace is now up to 4th place on track. He's gonna need to make some headway in the last 2.5 laps though to make these positions stick, as Exotic takes some more penalty time, so it's big now. Last couple laps you gotta hang on to these track limits. Make sure you don't get penalized even more for getting behind, as Will's taking a little bit of a bite out of Jacko this lap, but it's still comfortable. He's only got 2 to go, as Will and Mark fighting. Sam trying to get around Mark now. It's these guys all crossing the line with 2 to go. Sam with a send big time, trying to get up onto the podium. With Mark there as well, coming up on the lapped car of iConnects. Sam and Mark fighting for third place here. Yuppie likes to see this because he could easily sneak a podium on the penalty time these guys are holding. Sam gets clear of Mark, it looks like, but Mark's not going to let it go that easy. Gets back on the throttle, but doesn't have enough to fight with Sam anymore. So Sam with superior grip out of that corner and just takes over third place on track. As Jacko now through the S's for the penultimate lap. One more lap to go, and sector 3 to finish this lap. There you see Will behind Sam and Mark. Yuppie has caught the back of Mark as T-Widow makes a pass on Exotic as they go side by side through sector 3. T-Widow and Exotic both fighting it out. Taylor just behind this. So you see Sam, final lap. Taylor gets around Jalen. Good fight there for 7th, 8th, 9th. So we got good battles going on here into the final lap. As Will in 2nd, Sam now in 3rd. Mark 4th, but Yuppie staying close enough to get that spot on penalty time. As the fight now is for 6th, 7th, 8th as T-Widow gets a run on Exotic. Into the left-hander. Oh no, and T-Widow spins on the final lap. T-Widow with a little tap and a spin. Gets it going though. He's still hanging on to 9th place at the moment. For the final lap, unfortunate. T-Widow with a spin. Jalen gets up to 7th. He's going to try to make a look at Exotic for 6th. Ooh, he goes a little wide there. Yuppie still hanging on to Mark best he can. Mark and Sam falling off. Sam trying to catch Will for 3rd, but the penalty time is not going to help. He still will finish in 3rd. Looks like he's enough clear of Mark. Pending penalty time. This again could all benefit the Yuppie. As now here's Jacko coming around the final corners for the final time. Penalty free, no question. There's your winner. Checker flag for Jacko. Will across in 2nd. Sam will cross 3rd. Mark will cross 4th. Yuppie will cross 5th, but take 3rd for the podium for Yuppie. Jalen up to 6th, Exotic 7th, Taylor 8th, T-Widow now after the late spin unfortunately will come home in 8th as Taylor drops more on penalty time. FI gaining up to 8th with his clean run. T-Widow 9th. Taylor will finish 10th. Bacon 11th. George or Jim 12th. Here's Catman 13th. He's still got to finish his lap. iConnect's 14th. Gennett coming around to finish 15th after his big off into the wall. Surprising it was not a DNF, honestly. But that'll do it. Another entertaining Tier 1 JKeSport Grand Prix. Give Jacko a hand for another great drive. He will extend his point lead as Sam falls off the podium with penalty time. There's Catman coming across to finish. Props to you for finishing. A wet race that looks now dry at the very end. Sam Barrett, driver of the day from the back. There's Jacko. So Jacko, Will, and the Yuppie. Your podium for today in Britain. Here you see the spray, the celebration. The Racing Point team on the podium. Top step. There it is. Jacko first, Will second, Yuppie third. Sam from 18th to 4th, Mark from 19th to 5th. Sam will get the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. Jalen up to 6th with a late spin. Exotic 7th with a spin. FI, I don't know if he had a spin. 9th was T-Widow with a spin. And Ice Queen Taylor rounds out the top 10. Bacon with 11th. George or Jim 12th. Catman 13th. Connects 14th. Ginnett 15th. Monkey Mafia 16th. Sparks finished 17th. Uncle Ben was 18th. T-Bird was 19th. So again, thanks everyone. This is JKeSport. You can find us. We have Reddit posts looking for drivers occasionally. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. We run the league through a Discord. And this here YouTube channel that you are watching every Saturday night. JKeSport. Thank you everyone for watching. I am Spaceman 47 Yo. Good night.